All righty, welcome back to Sports Wrap, and joining us talking about the future of Major League Baseball in Las Vegas, A's President Marc Badain joining us. Marc, and I really appreciate you swinging by today and sticking through the basketball with us, an exciting basketball game with the Aces. Now let's talk some baseball. How exciting is this? I mean, you can kind of sense it in the community. The A's are out in the community. You sense it. The A's 3 years away.
It's less than 3 years away. We're really about 32 months away. And you can sense it, and you're starting to see more A's merchandise, and you're starting to see more folks with the organization out in the community. More are moving here every single month. So you're going to start seeing a lot more. And then obviously we had our ceremonial groundbreaking a couple weeks ago. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But a lot of exciting developments, really excited about the project, and thanks for having us here today.
Okay, so you mentioned the ceremonial groundbreaking. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that was like there with John Fisher coming out here, hanging out. Okay. Grab some dirt.
And the baseball commissioner here.
Boom, and Rob Manfred was here talking A's baseball and everything it was. You talk about being involved in the community. Battle for Vegas tonight, you guys are involved in that. Reggie Jackson's coming, I understand. Summer League, you guys are involved in that. So you have a presence here in Las Vegas already.
The A's have been here for a couple years, and we've had a lot of conversations internally. This is a small town and a small market, and you really need to be present. You need to be at all those events. You need to show that you care about the community, and the organization's been doing that, and will continue to do that. We'll be at the event this evening. We had a watch party at Circa last night. That was a big success. Close game. We almost pulled it off, almost pulled off a 7-0 comeback. But you're going to start to see a lot more events for the organization, and thanks for covering it, and thanks for being a part of it.
You were there poolside last night, weren't you?
I couldn't throw Marc in the pool because he had all his A stuff on. But yeah, I was there last night watching that. It was a lot of fun. You know, Marc, you've done the project. Speaking of the opening ceremony, or not the opening ceremony, it was groundbreaking for not only the Raiders but now the A's. It almost seems like in Las Vegas you have to Vegas-size things. They did it with the Raiders in their groundbreaking. You did it with the A's in this terrific groundbreaking. It's just different here, isn't it?
I think that's correct. John had some vision that he wanted to see for the groundbreaking. He wanted it to be about the kids, and you guys were there, and they were really the star of the show.
Yeah.
You had, the governor was great, all the speakers were great, but you saw these kids get up in front of 700-800 people, and I kept looking around for a teleprompter. They were really articulate, and they were so professional, and it was really inspirational to see the 4 or 5 kids that had a chance to get up there and represent their organization or their teams. That was really a great moment, and the event went off well, and we're really thankful for the community to support it.
That was a great touch, certainly. Okay, I want to ask you a little bit about this team. Okay, record-wise, they're struggling, but they are an exciting team to watch. Denzel Clark with the catches in the outfield, Nick Kurtz with game-winning home runs, all things that have happened since you've come on to the team. So you taught him some of this stuff?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with my arrival. No, I think David Forst, the general manager, and his team of scouts, the A's organization has always had a very, very good, deep pipeline of young talent. And you're starting to see those guys get on the field and play. Ironically, the draft for Major League Baseball is tomorrow, so I know they're hard at work evaluating the players, and we'll pick up a couple players tomorrow that hopefully you'll see in the stadium in 2028. But just some tremendous young talent. You mentioned Nick Kurtz. He had a great run here for the Aviators. Jacob Wilson, who's going to be our all-star. Tyler Soderstrom. Just some really good young talent throughout the organization, and they're a fun team to watch. We had some struggles in the month of May, but aside from that, they're playing really good baseball, and I hope you're watching.
And Kotsay, the manager, we were talking, Marc, last night. He's just a terrific guy. Those who in Las Vegas will someday meet him are in for a big thrill, aren't they?
Yeah, he really is. His family's wonderful. He's just authentic, and obviously the former player. But you can tell, obviously been around a lot of locker rooms and a lot of different coaches, and you can just tell when a guy has that type of relationship with his team and with his staff, and who he talks to and who he cares about. And Marc's been really enjoyable to get to know, and I'm looking forward to working with him in the future.
Okay, next season, I want to fast forward a little bit if you can, but could you play some regular season games here out at the ballpark, do you think?
You're not the first person to ask that, and if we have an announcement to make on that, we'll be sure to let you guys know. It would be great for Las Vegas, and Donnie Logan, who's one of the reasons the A's are actually here. It's an idea that's out there, and when we have something to announce, we'll announce it.
Marc, when I ask you about the funding of stadiums, I think there's 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 stadiums right now that are proposed funding. There's always a public element to all that here in Las Vegas and elsewhere. Why is that?
You have to evaluate every project on its own merits. How big is the market? whether it's a stadium, a ballpark, an arena. Obviously, the larger buildings cost so much more. And there's less events to monetize the revenues inside the building. So you really have to look at every single project on its own merits. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. There's some markets that can support it without it. In Las Vegas, the public contribution was looked at as something that would be additive to the community, help draw in tourists, help draw in economic growth for a tourism base, and turn this into the sports and entertainment capital of the world. You followed everything along with Allegiant Stadium. You saw the projections, and the projections have been blown out of the water in terms of the number of events and the number of people that came to town and the economic return to the investment that was made. So you really have to look at what kind of tax is it, what kind of public contribution is it? Is it a land contribution? Is it a tourist tax like we did here, hotel or car rental? Is it a TIF district, sort of what we're doing for the athletics ballpark? And does it make sense for the community? And in this community, it makes sense.
Well, we're going to dig up some video from almost a decade ago when you were with the Raiders here, and they had that news conference, a big news conference here. David Beckham was there talking about getting excited about Allegiant Stadium. You were involved very much, obviously, with the Raiders in that project and making that happen and bringing them here to Las Vegas. And now the Athletics, you're the building guru. I'm just going to call you, you get sports stadiums just built here in town under budget and ahead of schedule, from what I understand, with Allegiant Stadium. Maybe this one as well. What do you think?
That's certainly the goal. We have a wonderful project team. A lot of the same players that were involved in Allegiant Stadium are part of the ballpark project here. Same contractor, same architect of record, same project management team, a lot of the same subs. Obviously the unions here that helped build Allegiant Stadium will be a part of this. So when you can do something well, why not do it a second time? And obviously Allegiant was a very successful project, successful for the community, successful for the Raiders, successful for the local workforce, and hopefully we can replicate that.
You know, and it seems like to me when you look at Allegiant Stadium, one of the premier stadiums in all, not the country, but the world, and now this ballpark that's going to be phenomenal, yet to be named ballpark, we have renderings of that, Mark. And when you see that, doesn't it almost blow your mind because it's so kind of futuristic and unique and fun?
When I first started talking to John Fisher and Sandy Dean about joining the organization, that's one of the things I wanted to see, because you can't just build something bland here. You have to build something spectacular, and you see the renderings. It's going to be a phenomenal ballpark. It's going to be a phenomenal place to watch a game. It's going to be a phenomenal place to see other events. And I've used this line before. Both the Raiders and the Athletics have had a blessing and a curse in that they went last. All the other teams have had a chance to build ballparks in the time between the Athletics and Raiders being able to do their own. So you get to see what some teams have done well. You get to see what some teams have done that you would look at and say, I'm going to do that a little differently. And what John and Big, the architecture firm, and HNTB and the project team have designed here is a spectacular building. I think it's on one of the most incredible corners in the world, obviously part of one of the best, if not the best, skyline in the world. So it had to be something spectacular. They delivered on that, and now it's up to us to build it and to get people to fill it and to bring events to town to fill it.
You got 33,000 seats, closed dome stadium with glass out there, so it'll probably give the feel of a outdoor stadium, but 33,000 seats. Is that a sweet spot that you wanted to hit right there?
You're starting to see, you talked about some of the projects that are coming up. You're starting to see a lot of the buildings get a little smaller, not necessarily on the arena size, but certainly in the baseball ballpark stadiums and the football stadiums, right? The cost of building these things has exploded, and the larger you go, obviously the footprint of the building grows and the expense grows. And those seats that you're building at the top of the building are not the best seats in the stadium, and some people don't really want them anymore. So you're starting to see that supply-demand effect and look at what it does to the size of the buildings, and that's one of the reasons that the 33,000 is a really good sweet spot.
Kind of a two-part question, Mark, for you. Tariffs are raising the costs of a lot of things in this country, so I'm sure Fisher and the whole group want to get this thing built as soon as possible. That's probably a concern right now, I would think, right?
Certainly, we've had those discussions with the project team. It's not a surprise to us, and you're going through the estimating process, and then you're going through the bid process when you do a project like this. So you build those contingencies in, and you have to be prepared for them. So far, there haven't been any big surprises, so we should be fine.
We could go for a couple more hours here, certainly, because there's so many questions and so many issues coming up here. Looking forward to opening day here in Las Vegas in 2028. And as you heard Marc Badain say, they are going to play some regular season games here. Wait, no, you didn't.
I did not say that.
No, you didn't.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Fake news. But it was fun. I'm going to go back to '96, and I was here then and saw them play regular season games here in Las Vegas. The A's did when they were building Mount Davis in Oakland. So it's happened before. It can happen again, and it will certainly in 2028 and perhaps sooner. But you make a good point. Those young kids all came up that are now playing with the Athletics, played here with the Aviators, and it's fun to see them going up there and doing what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a great tie-in. They're a great partner. I mentioned Don and his whole team out there have been so supportive. We obviously have Big League Weekend here in March and have played some spring training games here, but just a wonderful partner. And I think everybody in town knows Donnie and knows what he's done for sports and for events in this community, and just a treasure.
Mark, before we let you go, got one more question. Sure. The experience that you guys are putting together out there by the Durango, I believe, the casino, similar to what the Raiders did at the town square, where fans can go in, look at some of the history, look at the World Series championships, look at some videos, whatever, and then see a model of the stadium. Explain when's it going to open and what will you see there out there? You
did a pretty good job right there. We're building an experience center. It's actually at the Uncommons across the street from the Durango Casino, and it'll be about a 7,000 square foot facility with a lot of really interactive, fun things for adults and kids. I don't want to surprise it. Obviously, when we open, we'll do some sort of grand opening for it. There will be a very realistic stadium model. There'll be the utilization of some great technology to show you what it's like to be in the ballpark, and then also to do some things that are more for the baseball purists and see some history of the team.
All right. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that so much. All right, coming up next, we're chatting about the Apex Predators. Local flag football team, big plans in the works. They're heading to Canton, Ohio. More next right here on Sports Wrap. We'll be right back.